All right, phenomenal morning, guys. You already know I am excited. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean East. I am not flanked this morning by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson, the phenomenal Junior Frederick. We are, how do you say, flying solo. Flying solo. So I know the question might be, Sean, why are you so excited? How do you get so excited? How are you so motivated, inspired, ready to go, encouraged early in the morning? What does it look like? Listen. I think we've been up like since 3 o'clock this morning, trained early, got on the Peloton. I posted something on Facebook so you guys can see it. Like, this is really the life. Like, this is really what we do early in the morning, every single morning, ready to go. After that, I started training, right? So after the training, started training. What do you mean, Sean, after the training, started training? We train every day at Sean East. We train every day at Sean East. You will not be able to build a phenomenal business. You will not be able to build a phenomenal machine if you don't train. And training is not done when it's comfortable. Most people want to have it like Burger King. They want to have the Burger King business where it's comfortable and they can have it their way. And they say no pickles, no tomatoes, no training, no strain. I want it to be easy. No straining, no uncomfortability. I can't come out of my comfort zone. I don't want to go live, Sean. I'm not comfortable going live. I don't want to train. I don't want to learn. I just want to succeed. I just want to make money. Listen, sometimes we need to wake up. Sometimes we really need to wake up. And that's why I'm doing it in the morning. Like, sometimes we really, really need to wake up, because the dream that you're going to be successful without putting in the effort is just that. It's a dream. It's not reality. There is no tooth fairy in business. In business, you must make decisions, and then you must have discipline to follow those decisions. You must give those decisions time to develop, and then you have to dominate. You have to dominate. So I wake up with a dominating spirit. I wake up convicted. And I'm straight in the gym, hitting it. And then after that, after I shower and all that, then I'm straight into training. If we weren't doing this right now, I'd be training right now with the company, because I do it too, right? As the CEO. So watch this, guys. You want your team to be phenomenal. You want your team to be phenomenal. You want closers to close. You want, marketers to market. You want the operations to do the operations. And you don't want to really do too much of anything. Right? As the CEO, like, it's like, okay, I'm not going to work in or under. I'm going to work on top of my business. And sometimes for CEOs who don't understand what CEOing means, they think that means sleeping late or being on vacation or taking a break or relaxing and just, doing the things that you think CEOs do. Real CEOs, real leaders lead by example. You should probably write that down. And you should probably share this out. Phenomenal morning. Let me see who's up with me early in the morning. I know on different channels I can't see you. Travis the Critic, I see you. Tia, I see you. Jordan, I see you. Listen, guys, share this out. Share this out, because what people think CEOs do is not what CEOs do. You think it's a cushion plush life, cushion plush office, and the office is pretty plush. The office is pretty phenomenal, right? But before we get in the office, we go into the gym. Before we get into the office, we go to the gym. And we're up way before the regular common folk. I tell you, we're up way before common folk. A 2 o'clock morning, a 2 o'clock wake up, get up is not uncommon in a CEO's life. That's right. 2 o'clock in the morning is not uncommon at all in my household. But then, right, what do we do first? Most people say, I wake up and I go to the refrigerator. I wake up and I put the snooze on. We don't even use alarms because we're so trained and so disciplined that we don't need the alarm to wake us up. We wake up and we get up. Wake up, get up. No pause in between. And then we hit the gym hard, because we got to condition the mind and the body. Some people say the body is led by the mind. Some people say the mind is led by the body. I don't care which one, because we train them both. We train them both consistently, early in the morning, early to rise, also early to bed. right? We don't do the late nights. We don't do the 2 o'clock in the mornings after going through the party phase. Like, we don't do that. Like, we left that alone 18, 19, for some a little bit later. It might have been 20 or 30, right? But when we get serious, we knock it off. When we get serious, we knock it off. We knock off the things that don't make us successful, and we include the things that make us more successful. So what makes you successful? Getting up before anybody else does. That's discipline. That's a character trait. Decision making. Wake up before anybody else does. There's just something about the energy in the air when no one else is awake. I believe strongly that mind and mentalities give off energy, and most mentalities don't give off positive energy. I believe that the mind creates a frequency. You ever wake up comfortable and all of a sudden you're not? All of a sudden it's negative. You ever feel negative for no reason? Sometimes it's because of other people around you or other people in your area. This is why environment is so important. Environment and association is so important. But what you have the opportunity to do, which I learned early on, what you have the opportunity to do is wake up when less minds are awake. And when less minds are awake, there's less negativity in the air. There's less confusion in the air. There's less frenetic energy in the air. And you can actually concentrate. And you can actually focus. And you can actually have a phenomenal conversation with yourself. And you can think. So I tell people all the time, the highest value resource of a CEO is their brain. But we don't give ourselves time to think. By the time we get out of bed, it's time to respond and react to all the things that are going on, because it's time to take the kids to this and do this with the kids and do this with the husband and do this with the wife. And you got to run to work and you're a little bit late and you put it on snooze. This is your Breakfast with the Brain. I am your host, Sean Raiz. I'm trying to give you an indication of what's going to happen today. We'll be right back. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Raiz. I'm proud. I said Sean Raiz. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right. Let's get back to it. So the excitement, right? The energy. What's the energy like in the room? What's the energy like in your home, guys? Just being honest, like what's the energy like in your home? Is the energy in your home conducive to phenomenal business? Is it conducive to phenomenal business? Is the energy in your body conducive to phenomenal business? The energy in your mind, what does it look like? Is it conducive to phenomenal business? Listen, I work with a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of people, guys. And it's hard sometimes for people to leave behind what they have to leave behind to move forward. Right? Sometimes it's hard for you to leave behind what you have to leave behind to move forward. And that's why the first thing I do is jump in the gym, because it's training the mind, training the body, and getting in alignment. Getting in the spirit, getting in that good energy. And then this is why I train consistently. So we have our own training portal, Brand University. Before I had a training portal of my own, I used to go to YouTube University. Like YouTube was the university for me. I would go to YouTube. I would be inspired. I would be motivated. I would have the information. I would be going to business school on my way to college or on my way to work. I'd be in the Long Island Railroad. People be looking at me. I'd be zoned out, listening, learning, writing, taking notes. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you writing right now? I hope so. Are you writing right now and taking notes? Listen, guys, we may not be doing the breakfast with the brand. What if we just shut it down tomorrow and said, you know what? It's over, guys. The breakfast with the brand is over. We're not going to do it no more. It's over. Shut it down. Who else is giving you phenomenal information, evidence-based, proven, not theory, actionable insights every single morning? Put their name in the chat if you know who's doing that. Listen, sometimes we have to seize the opportunity of a lifetime and the lifetime of the opportunity, and understand when somebody's trying to give you something, right? Understand when somebody's trying to give you something, when somebody's trying to help you move forward. The question is, are you helping yourself move forward? Right? Are you doing the work? Are you doing the work? Are you ready for the work? Are you qualified for the work? Are you up to the work? Are you up to the task? Right? So we're going to actually be bringing in a phenomenal guest, right? I'm bringing in a phenomenal guest because I love working and helping people to work and help other people. Let me say that again. I love working and helping other people to work and help other people, right? So I'm sending a link right now for a phenomenal guest who's going to be coming on during the next segment of this show. And she's going to talk to you about resilience, talk to you about mindset, talk to you about building, talk to you about capacity, talking about regain and reclaiming and probably renaming your situation. We go through things and we put the wrong identification to it. Guys, listen, we've all been through something. We've all been, right? Sean Rice has been through something. Everybody that you watch has been through something. Some of us who sometimes go further than others, like a slingshot because we've been pulled back further than others. I want you to think about that, because sometimes I hear people use their problems or their opportunities and see them as obstacles, and they see their possibilities as problems. It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. And this is why it's so important that we train and align the mind and the body early in the morning so that other people's story don't become our story. Guys, listen, I promise you that, number one, this works. I promise you, number two, that this is truth. I promise you, number three, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste your time. When I say that link at the bottom will change your life, it will. When I say what we give you in the morning will change your day and your life and your business, it will. Your future and your legacy. Some people's story becomes their excuse. Some people's possibility, they choose to name it as their problem. Some people's opportunity, they choose to view it as their obstacle, and it stops them from moving forward as opposed to propelling them to move forward. It changes everything. Perspective changes everything, guys. Listen to me very closely. You are the person, you have what you need. You just need to know what you have. You just need to know what you have. So let's talk about that for a moment. Number one, what do you have? What do you have? So money follows movement. Sales follows selection. Should probably write that down. Money follows movement. Sales follows selection. Have you selected what you have to sell? Clients come in, most times, if they're a little bit less mature, a little bit less evolved, a little bit less experienced, they'll be ready to make money, but not ready to make a selection. And when I say that, this is what I mean. I'll speak with a client. I'll say, okay, so what are we selling? What do we have? What do we have for selling? They'll say, what do you mean? I say, what's the tangible? What's the deliverable? What's your deliverable? What is your deliverable? What is your value? What are you offering people? What is your product? What is your product? And then what is the purpose for your product? Because people always choose a product with the purpose over a product with no purpose, a product that's off purpose, as opposed to a product that's on purpose. Well, what do you mean, Sean? Give us an example. Okay, Tom's shoes. Tom's shoes. Tom's shoes is a product. It's a product. They have a shoe. That's the product. What's the purpose? Tom's shoes provide shoes to those who don't have shoes. For every pair of Tom's shoes that you purchase, someone else gets a pair of shoes that they don't have the means to purchase. What's your purpose? What's your goal? Why are you here? Why do you exist? What is your product? Again, what is your product? What are you servicing? What needs do you serve? What holes, what gaps do you fulfill? And what problems do you solve? As a business owner, you're a problem solver. Unless you have the problem of not being able to make a decision, not having the discipline to make a decision. This is a huge problem, huge gap in this country and on this planet. We have so many options that we don't make decisions. We have so many options that we're easily distracted. And this is why I say, wake up in the morning, get up early before anybody else can give you false suggestions that are not real. So when you have clarity, you can actually concentrate and make a decision and focus. And I'm going to leave you with this before we go to the next break and bring out the guest. Get up early in a moment of clarity, clear your mind, clear things off your plate, and move your body, move your mind, put it all in alignment. Put it all in alignment, guys. I promise you, you will not be sorry for making this decision. The earlier and the sooner you make this decision, the earlier and the sooner you start making impact, and the earlier and the sooner you start making money with your business. That's a guarantee. Why? Because what we do in one area is what we do in all areas. So if you wake up a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic, a little bit tired, you're going to go through day. You're going to go through your day a little bit slow, a little bit lazy, a little bit tired. And you reflect who you are throughout the day. Let me say this again. You reflect who you are throughout the day. So if you're slow to make decisions and you're a little foggy and you're undecided, then everybody that you see is going to be a little bit lazy, a little bit slow, and a little bit undecided. We'll be right back. This is The Breakfast with the Brand.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Raiz. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
So when you're young, mommy tells you to play nice. Play nice, Timmy. Let all of the other kids play too. But in business, it's not about playing nice. In business, it's about winning. It's about adding multiple zeros to your revenue. Now, of course, your staff wins. And when you win, other people win. However, when it comes to competition, you absolutely must dominate. You can't play for participation, and you can't play just to get along or just to get by, because business is serious. Business will help you to change the world, or the world will change you. Your people will either win or your people will lose based on your level of leadership, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how much you know about dominating. All right, guys. So as we promised, we're going to be joined this morning by the phenomenal Dr. Michelle D. Clark. And she's going to talk to us about resilience, talk to you about that mindset piece, how important it is for you to have the right mindset while you're going through something, because we all are, right? Or we soon will be, right? So if everything is going phenomenal, just wait for it, right? And if something's going bad, then that's okay, because there's a high road coming behind that with the right mindset. So, Dr. Michelle, phenomenal morning. How are you doing this morning?
You know what? Today is Thursday, and I am just thrilled and thankful on Thursdays.
Very good. Very good. So I guess it's her day, right? So Thursday is hers day. Let's
Yes,
go.
yes,
Let's get
yes.
it.
I love it.
Now let the people know first the fact that this was not scripted. So how recent did you find out about this segment that I was going to allow you to come out on? How soon ago? How recent?
Like 20 minutes ago.
Guys, I'm very spontaneous. We do not script here. There is no script here. Share this out again, guys. It doesn't make a difference what platform you're on. If you're seeing this later, hashtag replay, hashtag squad, hashtag replay squad. Send this out because I guarantee you that the ministry, right, the message that you're about to hear, someone near and dear to you needs to hear. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Michelle, for the people that don't know who you are, don't know what you do, don't know what you stand for.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Sean, for having me on the show and inviting me. I was thrilled, beyond thrilled, when I got the message that you would like for me to come on today. So for you all who may not know me, my name, of course, is Dr. Michelle D. Clark, and I'm just a small town girl with big time dreams who God has definitely shown his grace and his mercy, and he saved me from some life-threatening things. And I'm so glad he did because, if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have the testimony to be able to share with you all today. So I am a stage 2 breast cancer survivor. And with that, I also have some expertise and experience. So I have a bachelor's in psychology, I have a master's in social work. I also have an honorary doctorate degree in business administration and entrepreneurship. And with that, none of those things could have prepared me, Sean. None of those things could have prepared me for what was to come in my personal life. So something you talked to us about last year when we were at the mastermind in Myrtle Beach, you talked about not work-life balance, but work-life integration.
That's right.
And let me tell you, if I had known then what I knew now, it was so integrated, Sean, that when I learned that I had breast cancer, I was at work. So I was at work, sitting at my desk in between clients, mental health therapist, right? In between clients, I get a phone call from my primary doctor, ring, ring. You know you have cancer, right? That was my call. Yes.
That's how you found out. Were those the actual words that were said?
Those were the actual words. Hey, Michelle, you know you have cancer, right?
Ooh. How unethical.
That's how I found out.
How unempathetic. Go ahead. Whew.
So in his defense, if there is any to have, he thought that the pathology department had contacted me to let me know. But even if, whether you know or not, you still have to make the presumption and still tread lightly, right? And proceed with caution. But, everything happens for a reason. I can't second guess it. Only thing I can think of at this time is that kept me in a cerebral mindset and not emotional. Because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever gone to a movie or if you've had something that was very emotional. And then as soon as the person says, that's okay, child, let it out, you just start crying. You just start crying. So the way the Band-Aid was ripped off of me, it didn't give me the opportunity to really process in an emotional way. I stayed very cerebral, which is probably what I needed at the time, being, again, between clients. But moving forward, so it's like, okay, what next? And what are some of my next steps that I need to do? Well, first and foremost, when we talk about mindset, we have to have the mindset of progress. We have to understand that no matter what's going on in your life, it's only 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond. And so my response was, okay, let's get the next steps we have to do so that we can move forward and get rid of this cancer, because I've seen life-threatening illness in my past and I know I overcame that. So I know I can overcome this. So we move forward, and it was a series, Sean, that I thought would be quick and easy in and out. Was not. So we're talking about now back in 2015 when I found out I had the diagnosis, 2016 when I had the mastectomy. That was very quickly. And then we were like, okay, immediate reconstruction didn't happen. It didn't happen because they found cancer in my lymph nodes. So then I had to go through radiation therapy and I had to also have preventive chemotherapy, which I'm still on today. You have to be on it for 10 years. 10 years. And I had to go through rehabilitation for getting my limbs back in order, if you will, from the surgery. And now I'm like, okay, great, let's go. Ready for reconstruction. And thanks for playing. No, that didn't happen either, Sean.
Why not?
Because I had a mini stroke.
So it's one thing after the other.
One thing after the other. So prior to that, just a quick background. Prior to that, I had 2 strokes. Then I found out I had stage 2 breast cancer. I just got cleared to have the reconstruction surgery. A couple of years later, boom, mini stroke. So then that delayed the process again. Fast forward.
Just give me a moment. For everybody who's watching this, I just want you to have perspective. Right? I just, because, Dr. Michelle, people go through things and they make the most of the things that they go through.
Yeah.
And the late and great Bob Marley said that everybody thinks that their burden is the heaviest.
Yes.
Everybody thinks that their burden is the heaviest. So some people say, well, I didn't grow up without a father, and that's the reason why they can't be successful. Or I don't know my parents, and that's the reason why they weren't successful. Or I grew up in poverty, or I came from Harlem, Brooklyn, and this is why I can't be successful. And you're telling us about being hit in rapid succession, wave after wave after wave of what someone would not see as being positive consistently. All of this took place from what year to what year?
From 2014, when I had the 2 strokes, 2015, when I learned I had breast cancer, 2016 had the mastectomy, 2017 had mini stroke. And then I delayed the process because had to heal from that and emotionally and physically. And then 2020 COVID hit. When I was ready to go back, because I had to wait some years. You have to wait some years after having a stroke before they will put you under the knife, if you will, for an elective surgery, because plastic surgery is considered elective. So I wanted to go in sooner. However, because of the medications that I was on to keep the strokes away, blood thinners, basically, to let you guys know, is a blood thinner, they would not perform the surgery because the cardiovascular department did not see fit to take me off of the blood thinner because it was an elective procedure. And the surgeons would not perform surgery if I was on the blood thinner. So that's why I had to wait. And just when I was about to get cleared again for surgery, well, actually, it was prior to COVID, I did get cleared and I started the process of the breast reconstruction surgery. And then that's when COVID hit and installed again the process. Yes. So I started the process. In other words, they went in, they put the expander in, they put when they put the expander in, it has a valve for the saline solution for them to access the port and to expand the area to get it ready for the implant. So that's how the procedure works. Well, during that process, there was another hiccup in my hookup where the valve started to leak. The valve started to leak, so we had to replace it. So we replaced the expander 1 week after when I went for my post-op appointment, Sean. The very next day, COVID shut down all surgeries. So that was on March 16th was my post-op. March 17th in Michigan, because I know in different states in Michigan, it shut down all surgeries. So I had to then just wait. Just wait. But through that, Sean, through the waiting, I'll get to this next point and then I'll come back to that. So let's pinpoint the waiting. Fast forward the tape. We're talking March 23rd of this year. I was scheduled for the next surgery. Yes, so March 23rd of this year, y'all. So we're talking March, 3/23.
Okay.
23. 3/23/23. Scheduled to go in. Got all the way there, on the table, cap, gown, all that on. only waiting to be wheeled back, and then it was denied. I didn't pass one of the tests. Right before they wheeled me back, they said, "I'm sorry, you didn't pass the test. You have to leave. We have to reschedule."
So it's just rapid success, like the hearing of what I hear while you tell your story. What I hear is the shuffling of cards. That's what I hear. I hear the shuffling of cards in my mind, or a money machine, and it sounds like this. It's like it's just hitting boom, 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 rapid succession.
Yes. It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And some people say, I didn't know my father, or I didn't grow up with mommy and daddy, or we grew up poor. Listen, guys, we're going to come right back. But what I want you to do for this moment is I want you to take into perspective rapid succession. Look at the story that you've just witnessed and that you've just heard, to put into perspective the blessing that you have and the blessing that you are, the opportunity that you have and the problem that you have not, unless you can't see the possibility inside of the problem. One final question. While this was going on, while you were being hit from every angle,
yes,
did you continue to work? Did you
absolutely.
continue to serve?
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
continue to serve
Yes.
as a mental health clinician.
Yes, I did.
Serving those who needed while you yourself were in need.
Absolutely.
This is the Breakfast with the Brand. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to come back and hear how you handled that. And we'll be right back. I hope somebody's getting some perspective this morning. I did say share this out. I meant it.
I said Sean Rye East. I'm proud. I said Sean Rye East. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire and heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes.
It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. When I think of brand you, I think of being your best self, your most authentic. The reason why we were able to crush business, absolutely dominate in business without having the marketing list, without having the email huge list, without having the Facebook ads and the advertising budget, without knowing the algorithm. The reason we were able to do this is because I branded myself. I told my authentic story and I was comfortable in my skin. Why? Because it was that time in the world where everything was shifting. It was 2020, March. So you remember what happened during that time. It was like the world was coming to an end. So you didn't have anything to hold back. So I chose to give everything that I had and be everything that I am. And because I was that, because I branded me, because I was authentic, everything shifted. And people wanted more. And they wanted to know more about me and how they could become more comfortable in their skin. Listen, guys, when you brand you and not what you do, you're gonna add a 0 to the world, but you'll also add a 0 to your revenue. Let's grow.
Wow, I'm still kind of blown away by everything that you're stating here. So in March,
Yes.
March 23rd, 23.
Yes.
You were wheeled in and then wheeled out and told to grab your belongings and make haste.
That's right. Zaijian. Goodbye.
Pick up from there.
Yes. You know, of all of the delays, Sean, I would have to say that one shook me the most. That one shook me the most. And the reason it did was because from the time I learned that I had stage 2 breast cancer and I had to have a mastectomy and they could not do any kind of skin or nipple sparing. So that's basically when they're able to salvage some of your outer shell, if you will, of your breast. They couldn't do it. They had to take it all of it. The whole left side had to take it. So there's basically nothing there but just the skin over the muscle. That's it. Everything else is removed. And then, of course, the scar line. That's it. So every single day since that point, which was in 2016, January, every time I would get dressed, my clothes fit differently. Every time I put on lotion, every time I shower, every time I walk past the mirror, it was a constant reminder that I had breast cancer and that breast cancer took away my left breast. It was a constant reminder. Now, this isn't for everybody. This is my experience, though. With my experience, Sean, I felt like I was an unfinished science project. I felt like Humpty Dumpty who had not been put back together again. And again, we talk about perspective. Prior to any of these diagnoses, we talk about mindset. I had a challenge with my mindset surrounding my breasts prior to any of this happening, Sean. Because I was on the smaller side, and I don't want to overgeneralize, but in the community where I'm from a small town outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Called Harvey. So let's give you some perspective. African-American females were known to be voluptuous, curvaceous. I was neither of those. And because of that, I used to be not bullied per se. They probably would categorize it as that nowadays, but back then we just called it made fun of and teased, to the point where I cried. All kinds of names that are associated with women who are not well endowed in the breast area. And so it was a painful moment for me to live through that process and now bring that mindset forward to getting the phone call of you have breast cancer. You know you got breast cancer, right? Bring that forward to I'm on the table about to be reconstructed, finishing the process that I started back in 2019, 2018-19, started that process. And all of this hiccup in my hookup, and now bringing all that mindset forward to having the left breast removed, starting the process, not knowing where it was going to end, how it was going to end. and finally getting that ending, seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, and then it being snatched out from under me after already having all of the mental preparation that goes into a surgery. Whenever we have surgery, and for those of y'all who have had breast cancer, you know what I'm talking about. We have to have this mental preparation before we go in. We have to have this spiritual preparation before we go in. We have to have a physical preparation before we go in. And once we're on that table, it's like a release that happens. So when that surgery got pulled, it wasn't just that day, Sean. It wasn't just from even from the mastectomy. It was all the way back from when I was in junior high and I was being teased. And now I felt like, okay, finally, not only am I going to get put back together again, but I'm going to upgrade. I'm upgrading, Sean. Come on, somebody. I'm not going back to what I was. I was going to upgrade me, right? So I was going to upgrade. And then that was snatched out from under me. So we're talking about years of traumatic experiences layered on top of years of anticipation, years of delay. But I'm going to tell you what, Sean, the beauty is not in the delay, it's in the pause, because they gave you perspective. It gave me an opportunity to be in the waiting and understand that there is a purpose for the pause. The purpose for the pause is for me to understand that this is not the end. This is the beginning. See, if it went smooth sailing, easy breezy, lemon squeezy, then I wouldn't have been able to understand the gravity behind the diagnosis, the gravity behind the process, the gravity behind experience.
That's right.
Because of that, that is what helped me to birth Lift After Breast Cancer. It was because of these experiences coupled with, pay attention you all, coupled with having someone at the helm up here and having someone at the helm down here. I'm talking about a professional business coach, i.e. Mr. Sean Raiz, who took me to the side and said, because before the break, he asked me, were you still serving? Were you still working with people? Were you still helping others? Yes, yes, yes. But it was fragmented. I was all over the place. I was helping this person, helping that person, doing this and doing that, and running myself into the ground. A lot of the diagnoses that when we receive them, they say, oh, you have this, oh, you have that. It all boils down to stress. Stress manifests itself in different ways in our bodies.
Ooh, yes, it does.
We don't have ways to release it. That is a productive avenue to release those stresses. Then guess what? Those stressors. Then guess what? It's just permeating throughout our bodies, doing its will, doing its work in a negative capacity. So we have to find ways to release that. And when I was on that table, I thought I was going to get that release. So let's fast forward a little bit here. In May was the next date. Guess what? COVID. We talked about COVID. Guess what? I had COVID. I got COVID in May, 10 days before my surgery. I'm like, this is Murphy's Law on steroids. I'm thinking to myself,
hold on. So just give me a moment.
Yeah.
You're saying in May or March 23rd, March 23rd,
yes,
you got sent home.
I got sent home.
And then you were rescheduled for sometime in May.
For May 11th.
And then you caught COVID.
10 days before my surgery. Hadn't had COVID the whole time since COVID hit.
You know, some people,
Murphy's Law on steroids.
Some people would not have had a chipper misdemeanor. I mean, like a chipper demeanor. Some people would not have had the will to move forward. Some people would have seen that as something else.
Yes. Let me tell you what it is. It's called delayed but not denied. When you have a will, when you have the fortitude, when you have the get up and go and you don't let it get up and leave, and you keep persevering, you have your target in sight. The only time we see obstacles is when we take our eyes off the target. I was laser focused on what I wanted, period. And when Dr. Michelle wants something, Dr. Michelle's going to get it. Point blank, period, no matter what. Now, there may be a pause, there may be a delay, but I will not be denied. I will not be denied. And so the pause was purposeful so that I could become more passionate about what I was experiencing. I can get perspective on what I was experiencing. And what I realized, Sean, is that all of the different communities that I was serving, they weren't serving me very well. And we don't serve others just to get something back. But I'm going to tell you what, at some point in time, we have to refill our cup. We look right. If we don't refill this right here, what's going to happen? You can't pour from an empty cup. No. So the filling has to come from somewhere. And yes, we have our spiritual cup being filled, but we also have to have our emotional and our physical cups being filled. We have to have our financial cup being filled.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things, Sean, were just running on E. And so when we had that conversation, Sean, listen, you all, Sean pulled me to the side. We had a conversation. We had a really deep conversation. I'm talking about not just a meeting of the minds, but a meeting of the hearts. And Sean imparted some words on me. And he told me that I need to pull the plug on all these outside activities that were building a bridge to nowhere. Because it was running me down and it wasn't leading anywhere. And let's even take me out of the equation. When we're serving people, but we don't have a focus on who we need to serve and how we're serving them, we just serve and serve and serve it, then we're not even really serving the people we think we're serving to the full capacity so that they can be receiving the benefits. It's like me handing you some watered down Kool-Aid. Who wants watered down Kool-Aid? No one. So that laser focus, understanding that my purpose now is working with high-performing women who have experienced breast cancer and now are looking to thrive after breast cancer, to live inspired, free, and transformed. That's where LIFT came from, living inspired, free, and transformed after breast cancer. Because we haven't been given this second lease on life just to go back to status quo, go back to the stressful life that led us here in the first place. That's right. We have to do something different. And in order to do something different, we have to become something different.
Wow. I mean, I don't know what to say. I hope everybody's paying attention, like very microscopic, close attention. Your resilience, your ability to bounce back and lift yourself up from that situation is undeniable. Undeniable, extremely transformative, and I hope it's motivational and inspiring to those of you who are going through something this morning. I hope this helps you to put things into perspective and see the possibility within the problem and see the opportunity within the perceived obstacle. Sometimes there's a word called optical illusion. And I always say that business is a spiritual game because sometimes your physical eyes will mislead you. They will tamper with, and harness your perception the wrong way. They'll make you see things that aren't there. And they'll make you miss the real objective. And it seems kind of like that's what was happening, Dr. Michelle. It seemed like there was a superficial solution and a mitigated or compromised purpose. And every time you got wheeled in there to get rewarded for the misalignment, it was denied. It was like, nope, not yet. You're not ready yet. And you got sent back to do some more studying, do some more reflecting. And then you came back again and it was like, nope, denied. You're not ready yet. And they sent you back into the corner to think about it a little bit. And then I remember we had our conversation. And how soon after that was your reconstruction successful?
It was it 3 weeks? I think it was 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. So here's Dr. Michelle. For everybody who doesn't understand, please listen for a moment. So I'm a business coach. I'm working with Dr. Michelle. I see her doing all of these things. I know exactly what she's going through. I don't know what dates are set, but I see the frenetic energy and I see the lack of goals accomplished. I see the lack of connection. I see the lack of focus. I see massive energy, outpouring of heart, outpouring of soul, no recompensation. No real recompensation, no real acknowledgement. So we had a conversation, and during that conversation, I learned more. Discovery process, right? Active listening. So during that discovery process, I learned more. And when she told me that she was ready to go into surgery in a couple of weeks, it was hard for me, honestly, to believe. And I just said, you're giving so much. And yet you have so little time to go into a situation that's so important. I just made an executive decision and gave her the opportunity to take it or leave it. As a coach, we don't get to choose what the client does, but we do get to provide executive decisions and executive alignment and advice. That's what I did. I'm an executive coach. So I told her, I said, you need to shut all of that stuff down. And you need to go spend time with your family, for God's sakes. That's what you need to do. Spend time with yourself, spend time with God as you understand him, and spend time with your family and get ready for this next situation. And it happened to be a success this time, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Like a charm.
And you actually came out of that with a whole new perspective, not just on life, but also on your business.
Yes.
So tell us what's been happening with your business since then.
Yes, it has been absolutely amazing, Sean. So since getting that clarity, then I was able to simplify, right? The CSA that Sean has taught us. So I got clarity on my purpose and who I need to serve and how I need to serve them. So then I was able to simplify my message and then amplify it, calling all cars, right? Calling all breast cancer survivors, right? Female breast cancer survivors, because males get breast cancer as well, but I work with females, right? I work with women. And since making that public service announcement, if you will, and putting out there and pouring my heart out there in a unified, one sound, one voice, right? Yep. And letting everyone know my journey. I started my journey on October 1st, for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And every single day on LinkedIn, I posted portions of my journey with empowerment steps that women can do afterwards. So when you read the information, I'm a real big believer that when you get information, you consume information. Sometimes we consume so much information, we don't even know what to do with it. So I always like to leave the audience with something when they read my articles. How can you now activate this? Because activation is the bridge between information and transformation. So I like to leave them with something. How do you implement this now into your life? So every single day I started to post article of my life. And then how you can now take this and turn it for your good. And because of that, I started getting an outpour of people reaching out to me, wanting me to be in their magazine, wanting me to be on their podcast, wanting me to be in their anthology, wanting me to be in their contest. There's a contest going on right now. It's called Fab Over 40. And that's for women who are over the age of 40. And the blessing is that when you donate, so you can vote multiple ways. You can either vote free or you can donate. But when you donate, portion of the proceeds goes to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
Wow.
And come on. This you can't make these things up, Sean. You can't make these things up.
You cannot.
There is an alignment. And when you follow the pathway, when you have, first of all, when you have a guide, when you have guides who tell you what to do, take heed. Take heed. Do it. And then you will reap the benefits of the wise advice. And when you get those moments that come to you out of the ether, and you're wondering, you get these ideas, these epiphanies. They're not happenstance. They're for a reason. Act on them swiftly. Because I'm telling you, when you blink, it could have been that exact moment that could make or break the difference. Not to mention, I don't know if you're like myself, but my mind moves so quickly that if I don't do it right now, I'll be like, now, what was I supposed to do? Because you just have these rapid fires of ideas. So do it. Just do it. And so with this contest, we've been able to impact the National Breast Cancer Foundation with the outpour of donations to help women just like myself who have experienced breast cancer. So I'm excited about being a part of the Fab Over 40. Very excited about that. In addition to that, I also am in the process of putting together a Lift After Breast Cancer newsletter, because I want to connect with people, not just on LinkedIn, but I want to be able to help breast cancer survivors to be able to connect with me, learn information, not just about a diagnosis, but about how to live, really, really live after breast cancer. Live inspired, free, and transformed via speaking engagements, events, empowerment events. We're going to have retreats coming down the pipeline. And when you are a part of the newsletter, you'll be the first to know all of these wonderful events that will be coming down the pipeline to be able to participate and engage. So I'm excited to now be in this niche, to be able to impact women who've experienced what I've experienced, to be that beacon of light, because I didn't have that, Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we see that there's a void that needs to be filled, we can
There it
either
is.
sit back and wait for it to be filled and say, boy, I sure hope somebody can fill this void, because it's
That's
sitting there
right.
and it's out there, or we can become the solution and fill the void.
This is so powerful. This is so powerful because this is what we teach, right? This is what we teach. I said it before we brought you on about finding the need, servicing the need, solving the problem, becoming the bridge, using your story as a bridge, as an example of possibility, and becoming the bridge to help other people through your story, through your sacrifice, through your vulnerability, through your transparency, to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. Now you have resonance. Now you have connection. Now it's evidence-based times 10. Unbelievable. Absolutely. I hope everybody's paying attention, because no matter what you're going through this connection, through this conversation this morning, you can see your possibility. Coaching works. It works if you work it. I guarantee it. I always have, always will. What we do is a little bit different. It's evidence-based. It's not really good stuff. Like, this is the real deal. And you're seeing real results from a real strategy that was developed less than a month ago. And what she's doing right now is reaping real results and real rewards from implementation, sticking to the script. And then I'm informed as the coach from feedback. So I actually wrote down purpose, passion, and profit. You found your purpose. The passion has engulfed you. You can see it on your face. You can hear it in your voice. All of your colors, all of your things make sense now. The lift after, even like, it makes sense now. And it's lift, for God's sake. So there's some interesting connotations there as well. And I'm thinking about the anthology coming behind this that you spearhead and you include and incorporate other phenomenal female executive women who are survivors who have gone from surviving to thriving, but we'll talk about that later. Guys, listen, this has been an extremely transformative, extremely different edition of the Breakfast with the Brand. I thank you, Dr. Michelle, for making yourself available. I know you had some other plans, but you know me. I'm very spontaneous when I feel something that's spiritual, and I said, let's reach out. Now, let me ask you, is this where people can, where can people go vote for you?
Yep. So they can vote for me at bit.ly. I think we have it in the back here. bit.ly/vote for Dr. Michelle.
Okay.
Yep. And there's one L in Michelle, y'all. You don't need two and one does the same. So make sure.
That's right. That's right.
One L.
Let me put that up here real quick, guys. Listen, if there ever was a purpose, right? You're not, you're not the only one. Like my aunt, one of my aunts also was a victim of breast cancer. And I can remember it when I was young, and I can't even imagine. I was so young, I can't even imagine what it did to her self-esteem. Because she was actually a model. She was a model, one of my favorite aunts, man. It just brings so many memories to mind thinking of her. Phenomenal woman, strong in essence and spirit, in education and in purpose. And she was a model, and that happened. And I can remember the difference. I can remember the difference and wondering as a youth what happened, right? Guys, you're going through something. Everybody is. Everybody has something that they've been through. My ask is that you consider the possibility that your problem or your perceived problem actually has a deeper underlying purpose. I don't believe that we're given things to harm us. I think that we're given things or sent through things to prepare us for something on the other side. And we don't know what that thing is. And that's where faith comes from. Faith is belief in the things that are unseen. So it may not be apparent to you. And that's why it's important to have someone who's outside of the bottle, because they're not inside the storm of your emotions and your bias and what you're going through. I was outside of Michelle's bottle, so I was able to see what was going on and say, you're doing the most. You're doing too much. You need to stop. You need to slow down. You need to pause. You need to think. You need to shut it down. Shut it all down. And then we put together a strategy for her comeback, and I couldn't be more pleased. I really couldn't. I couldn't be more pleased. Michelle, before we go, I want you to just, and I'm going to take myself out of here. I want you to kind of close the show and give people a couple of ideas for inspiration, things that they can do to find the resilience and bounce back from whatever it is that they're going through the way that you have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sean.
You're very welcome.
You know, being a part of the Breakfast with the Brand has definitely been an honor. And I want to make sure, just like I do in the articles on LinkedIn, that I leave you all with something that you can implement, something that you can take with you. So when we talk about perspectives, we talk about pain, we talk about our passions, they can all run on the same lineage, if you will. We talk about pain on one side and passion on the other side. So there's things that we shoot for, that we strive for. And I'm sure we've all heard of or maybe we haven't, the pleasure pain principle, where we're more apt to run from pain than we are to run towards pleasure. I'm putting this in perspective for you all. When I went through my ordeal, I was running from pain. I didn't want to be in that position anymore. I didn't want to feel like an unfinished science project anymore. And I was determined to not be seen as that anymore. But in that, I also was missing an important and integral part of the puzzle, if you will, the perspective that, no, I am not my diagnosis. I was running from the diagnosis of breast cancer. I didn't want to be associated. I didn't want to be known as, oh, that girl. What I realized is that my purpose was not to be the diagnosis, but to be empowered through the diagnosis, be empowered through my experience. So I encourage you, if you have experienced any kind of debilitating illness or setback, anything that you may feel has kept you from progressing, understand that there's a purpose in there. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for the storm. And when it clears up, you'll be able to have that perspective. You'll come out, you'll emerge on the other side with a new perspective, if you so choose. And how you can do that is by pausing while you are going through and understanding what the purpose is. And then what plan can you take to now profit? And when I say profit, that doesn't necessarily mean monetarily. It could mean this monetarily. But how can you profit so now you can be a benefit, not just to yourself, not just to your family, not just to your community, but the world at large? Because what happens to us doesn't just happen for us. It's to happen through us to be able to impact others. So whatever your pain is, whatever you've experienced, make sure that you pause, think about the purpose, put together a plan, so now you can progress and be profitable to impact others. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Michelle D. Clark, and I am the CEO and founder of Lift After Breast Cancer, where we empower high-performing women to live inspired, free, and transformed after breast cancer. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Breakfast with the Brand.